Monkey Butt Radio is not your mama's radio show. We are uncensored, unhealthy, and unapologetic. Consider yourself warned.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. We're the renegades in this atomic age. This atomic age of
Thank you for joining us tonight, Monkey Butt Radio. Tonight is one of the most anticipated interviews since we've ever started this show. We have a few members of BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse, in the studio tonight. This is one of the most respected groups in this entire country.
I tell you what, when I went out there to meet them, when they pulled up, I had goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
I was so excited to meet these ladies.
It's only because they were chicks.
Goosebumps. Well, you know how I am with titties. But their mission is superseding the titties at this point.
That's powerful.
I know, it is.
That's real talk right there.
That is genuine, people.
So to introduce us tonight, to my left is Mikey Biggest.
That's me.
To his left is Big Mike. And according to my name tag, I'm Grumpy. And I do have a name tag tonight.
Thank God you got it, because last week you forgot his fucking name.
I think your disposition gave you that name, not the name tag itself.
Okay. You can still connect with us the same old way as ever, going to www.monkeybuttradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at monkeybuttradio, and, of course, on Facebook. There's a few upcoming events. August 23rd, Bike Wash and Barbecue, Gatekeepers. You can look up on the screen. There's the flyer from Two Gals Events. Is up on the screen right now.
Oh, guess who won't be here for that one? This guy.
Yeah, suck it. Or that guy.
Yeah, as of right now, this guy as well.
As of right now.
Good time.
So, and also Labor Day weekend. Logo's up on the screen. Labor Day weekend, South Beach Bike Week. This week we have Bikers Against Child Abuse in studio to talk about their organization, their mission, and how much you can get involved in helping them. Okay, but as always, let's start off the show with biggest news.
Biggest news. And welcome to the biggest news. I've got a little bit of a dilemma. I have to eat some crow this week for biggest news. And you know, I hate admitting when I'm wrong, but I will do it because this company deserves it this time. Just like everybody else and their brother has been talking about for the last week since it was unveiled at Sturgis, the 2015 Indian Scout. Come on, I'm all flustered because I got to admit I was wrong about something. The 2015 Indian Scout has been released. I've always made it known that I'm not a fan of the aesthetics of the Indian motorcycles. This one's changing my mind. I like it. I like the looks of it. It looks like it's a totally different bike from what Indian is used to creating.
It looks old school,
but it looks modern at the same time.
Yeah.
Now what they've done is they've taken a 69 cubic inch V-twin liquid cooled engine, and the power numbers for what they are stating, it hasn't been proven yet, but what they are stating is it's got 100 horsepower, 72.2 foot-pounds of torque at 5,900 RPM.
Bullshit.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know.
Sash rode it last week. Okay, she had it full day for the Bell event that she went to, and she had this Indian Scout for 24 hours, and she absolutely loved it so much that she wants to get one.
I think it looks good. I think it's going to be a hit big time. They've done some serious engineering on this bike. The rear shocks sit at almost a 45-degree angle, and they're connected directly to the cast frame. Now, it's going to be a rough ride if you're a bigger guy, mainly because it only has 3 inches of travel in the rear suspension.
Hey, Grumpy's used to 3 inches of travel.
Sash said it's the lowest sitting bike that she's ever been around.
25.3 inch seat height. So it's pretty low. It's like my street glide. So it's going to be a comfortable bike to ride. I don't know how that 3 inches of travel is going to work.
That's DJ.
Anyway, apparently we're going to get a wah from that.
Shut the fuck up.
The curb weight of this bike is 558 pounds. That's what they're claiming. I I haven't seen any
Wow, that thing
official
doesn't weigh
documentation.
anything.
It's pretty.
It should be a
frickin' light.
laser.
It's light. Now the big thing with this is, if you look at a Harley 1200 custom, you're looking at about 10.6 for the price. This bike coming out bigger engine, or well, about the same size engine, water cooled though. 11,000 is just under 11,000 what they're asking for. So I think it's going to be a hit. I got to apologize for Indian for all the bad mouthing I've talked about the aesthetics of your bikes before, but this one knocked it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
I'll keep up the bad mouthing.
Well, maybe we can get the GM from the Indian dealership down here so you can kiss his ass.
Oh, I ain't kissing nobody's ass.
Oh, come on now. You used to be able to.
I used to do that for
kisser.
money.
Oh.
That was for money.
Oh.
So if I ain't getting paid for it, it ain't going to happen.
All right.
Maybe
so
he'll
the
let- hey, if-
GM from the Indian dealer with $50.
Anybody that brings $100 to the BACA ladies at the show, I will kiss your ass right now. How's that?
Gentlemen,
Pony it up, suckers.
I got $5.
it puts the lotion on
Just
its
like
skin.
with Petrano's run, it's not going to be no starfish involved in this one.
No musty spider hole.
No, none at all. All right, let's move on to the next story. Harley Davidson has another recall.
Again?
Yes, another
Again?
recall. This one is on the
Road glides. Or
Dyna.
no.
road
This one
cleans.
is on the Dyna Lowriders.
No shit.
Yes, they have a problem, and here is the problem.
They've been parking too close to GM. Right? Get ready for this.
I think a little bit bleeded over. What they've got is they've got an issue with with the switch, for the ignition switch. So when you get up to about 5,800 RPM, that gives you a perfect resonance on the vibration that it turns the bike off.
No shit.
That's what happens.
You know what?
All right,
that
so-
happened on my white glide,
now wait
but
a
it was
minute.
just a faulty switch.
Well, that's because yours is an old piece of shit. This is new. All right. Now, the bikes, stock bikes, only go up to 5,600 RPM, but you can make modifications so it'll redline higher. Or if you just disengage the rev limiter in it, you can get up there. So what this means is if you're trying to haul ass, your bike is going to shut off.
Oops.
Look about getting that fixed because this is
Yep. Don't run from the cops.
this is kind of a big issue.
Or
If-
keep it under 5,600 RPM.
if you ride
Pick
hard,
side streets.
If you ride hard, this is an issue you may want to have to get addressed.
If you ride hard, go see a doctor after 4 hours.
You know, they say, that old saying, ride them hard, put them away wet. Well, if you ride this bike hard, you'll get put away wet.
Yes,
So
because
be
you'll have
very
road
careful.
rash and all that oozing pus that comes out of the skin. That's what's going to make you wet. All right, now we have a special segment for the biggest news. And I'm going to turn away from the camera for a second. This is the new member of the Monkey Butt team.
Nugs.
This is Nugs.
Hi, Nugs.
Nugs was found in my backyard in my old grill. He just started a homestead there. My wife was beating him with a broom when I came out the door, and I said, hey, what the fuck's going on? Anyway, Nugs gave me a nice story about how he was in a Tijuana jail for a few months. He got out and didn't have anywhere to go, so he just took up the first available
Marine.
spot when the
I
coyotes.
say he looked
Marine.
I think
familiar.
so.
I took a wrong turn.
There's no tattoos,
San
and I
Diego.
can't understand his voice
He's an air wing.
sometimes. But ooh, that's
Ooh, burn.
that hurts. That really
Fucking
hurts.
stuffed
fuckers.
brains.
Anyway, Nugs is now here back in the United States. He is now part of the Monkey Butt team because we felt sorry for him. You know, he gets a lot of issues going down there in the Tijuana jail. So he came up here.
Well, with lips like that, you knew he got abused.
he was
Come on.
he was a little scarred, but now he's part of the team. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the greatest of luck, so you may see sometimes when he gets abused.
And he's officially
Well,
taller than
I
You know
Grumpy.
what? You know what? I think there was there was some video evidence of the last time he was being
Abused? Quote.
screwed up.
I
Hey, Scooter, do you have that video?
Hi, this is Doris Schumacher at Ride Empowered in Sioux Falls, and Monkey Butt Radio ain't yo mama's radio.
Thanks for Nugs for showing off a little bit. Now we got MRO
Yeah, he
corner.
is a hero.
Yes,
Nugs is a hero.
Motorcycle Rights corner with Big Mike.
All right, guys, I got a handful of stuff to talk about today. Some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be not so good, and some of it's a little uplifting. I want to start off just talking about what's going
Oh,
on.
fucking Dennis.
Dude, I
Again.
gotta apologize to Motley Crue again. I think that hotel is pulling some kind of fucking scam. I mean, $200,000 for extreme fire damage? Fucking ridiculous.
What could you have possibly lit on fire? 3 floors?
Dennis, you
Fucking A.
got to get your shit under control.
Taco
all right? I
Bell or
think you've
something.
got a problem. We
I
need
think
an
he was-
intervention.
I think him and Scooter were blue flaming it.
Burn. Holy
Finish up what you were saying. You got a handful of something.
Well, I'm sorry. Right now, I'm trying to digest $200,000. Holy Jesus.
That's Dennis.
Fucking
though.
Dennis.
That's Dennis.
You leave him loose with a gas can and a set of car keys.
You know what it is? It's the freaking monkey butt lighters that he got.
That's what it is. Son of
Those
a bitch.
badass Zippos. He doesn't know how to use one.
Yeah.
Flip, turn light, don't walk away. Let's talk about a couple of bills. Right now, Washington still is in recess, I believe, this week, but going into it.
August.
Yeah, right? They'll be gone for 5-6 weeks, whatever they do, because, they work fucking hard,
Oh, of course.
There's 2 bills that I want to make everybody aware of, and I'm sure you guys already are, but I just want to talk about it again because we have some support in the state of Arizona, and if you don't hear your congressperson or your district, now is a good time in recess to be sending out those letters, making those phone calls, knocking on doors, if you give a shit. Now, I'm just telling you need to give a shit because once laws are written, they don't get removed.
That's right.
They just keep adding more. That's why that fucking book is bigger in your head. So, H.R. 1861, which is the Stop Motorcycle Only Checkpoint Funding Act. I don't want to get this confused with people that are considering the stopping of motorcycle only checkpoints. This is the funding act. This keeps DOT.
You can do it, but we ain't going to give you any money for it.
Right, and it's not necessarily our money. There ain't a person on 2 fucking wheels that would give these idiots anything just to stop us or our passengers to do illegal search and seizure, et cetera, et cetera. But we have to take into consideration ADOT. ADOT has a whole bunch of money that they get from the Transportation Funding Act. And what they can do with that money at this point is they can fund overtime officers to set up these motorcycle only checkpoints and literally discriminate. So right now we have, I believe there's 51 co-sponsors, of which 2 are from our state. I know this is rare, but Ann Kirkpatrick is a supporter.
Whoa.
And this is what's even going to be more rare. We have a Democrat.
We talked about this last time.
Right,
and
but-
it shocked me.
But ready for this. Not only is she a Democrat, but we have a Republican in our state that is co-sponsoring the bill as well. So we do have a little bipartisan.
Who's a Republican?
Matt Salmon.
Oh, Matt's a great guy.
Right. So we do have people on both sides of the aisle that can agree on something. So it's a start. So Kirkpatrick's District 1, Salmon's District 5. If those aren't your districts in your state of Arizona and you're concerned about this funding of motorcycle only checkpoints, start writing some letters, start knocking on doors. And I can tell you right now, if you go to ABET of Arizona, abetofaz.org, we already have a canned letter. All you have to do is print it out, sign your name, email it off. We give you all the information. The more voice we have, the better off we are. And then I want to talk a little bit about HR 875, which is in conjunction with HR 1462, which are both either in support of or the allowing of ethanol 15 to be used in all. Correct. We know that.
We've talked about this.
Yep.
We've watched and seen the immediate damages it does to your motorcycle. I want to let you know right now, we do have one Republican in the state that is co-sponsoring that bill, and that's David Schweikert. So
Really?
rarely does he do anything fucking good, so I tip
Yeah,
my hat
really.
to good old Dave Schweikes. But the reason I brought this up,
There's an election coming up.
right,
Yeah.
no shit, right?
That's why.
And that's why you got to be careful. But what I'm saying, now is the time, even if it's false, even if it's not real,
Let's get this through.
right? Let's get these people listening to their contingency, and all the constituents in the state that are going to vote for these monkeys, they're going to listen to you right now. And if they're going to put a co-sponsor on a bill, now's the time to get them interested because they want your vote.
You got to hit them where
I don't
it
care.
hurts.
I don't care how
Hit
we
it
get it
where it
passed. We
hurts.
need them passed.
You know something? I got my voter's guide in the mail last week, and my absentee ballot. We should bring it in and vote on the air.
Why the hell not?
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
What
They think that would be kind of dry and drawn out, but
Yeah, well.
we can give it a shot.
But the reason I brought this
Very quickly.
particular,
All A's, all B's.
but C is the right answer.
It's got an L next to it. We're gonna put
A little
that
L.
one.
That's right. Just a little L.
Well, they don't have those on the ballot anymore. They don't
Sons
have
of
parties on the
bitches.
ballot, so you
Really?
can't just vote straight ticket. I looked at my early ballot. There's no parties listed on any of the names. So if you don't have that guide, you got to look up and see who's who.
Well, geez, they're making it even more impossible for people that don't really have a birth certificate or were born in this country or have a social security number to come in and legally vote.
Hey,
but they
I
don't
got-
know who they're voting for.
I think
It's
that's
horrible.
racist. That whole fucking thing's racist.
I got a Spanish one, so I think it's good.
Okay, so back to business. The reason I brought these little things up is because I want you guys to just understand that Monsanto is involved, and that is just my little L speaking.
What?
For what? Yes, Monsanto
Oh,
is the ones that are sowing all the seeds and making it illegal for the farmers to be able to go any other direction to pollinate their seeds to make all of this fucking corn, so that they can keep pumping it through this.
And they're killing the bees. God damn it.
And they're killing Harley Davidson. So
Yeah.
I just want everybody to be aware that there is a not only an ethical standpoint here, but there's an environmental that I want everybody to be aware of. So even if you don't give a shit about Harley Davidson or motorcycles
Or Indian, or Victory, or...
we already cleared we don't really care about Indian.
Okay.
But no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just joking. Don't throw things at me.
We care about them next year.
I'll care about them when our listeners buy me
Tune
one.
in
There we go.
January.
So I want everybody to know that there is an environmental aspect to these bills, HR 875 and HR 1462, and we'll go ahead and get these things up on the website as well, so we can try to give you guys a little more information on where to go to get more information. Because again, don't listen to me. Go find out for yourself. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, which these two can attest to.
And just remember, Monsanto has deep fucking pockets. So if they want this to go through, it's going to take all of us banding together to stop it.
There's no doubt, absolutely no doubt. They got more money than God.
Grassroots actually works, okay? And
Well, yeah, only if you water them.
yeah, but grassroots organization works. We've seen it so many times that a small handful of people can actually change the laws.
You just got to do it.
Yes,
That's all you got to do.
And that's the thing, folks. Listen to what Big Mike says. Call your congressman. If you don't know where to find your congressman, go to Google and say, "Where's my congressman?" and it'll come up a website to be able to find it by putting in your zip code.
You can go to abetavaz.org and it'll list every district and who your congressman is.
Yeah.
So we have that information to help you guys out. And again, one person does make a difference if it's the one and then the guy next to you and the guy next to you. And again, if I can't appeal to your ethical senses, let me appeal to your environmental and check out what Monsanto has in cahoots with HR 75, 875, and 1462. So moving along, I want to take a little moment of my day to recognize a man that has done so much for the motorcycle community. Still Ray. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Still Ray. He's been around in the Valley forever. In 2013, he actually got inducted to the Sturgis Hall of Fame. He's done so much. He's actually right now the current director of sustaining member motorcycle clubs for the MRF. He's the chairman of the Arizona Confederation of Motorcycle Clubs, ACMC. He's got awards upon awards upon awards. If there's somebody in this state that you could say hands down has done so much for motorcycles, motorcyclists, and motorcycle rights, it'd be Still Ray. This year on his way up to Sturgis, he went down. I don't know all the details at this point, but I know there's some head injuries he sustained. He does have some bleeding of the brain, which is typical to the trauma. He is stable, but he's up and down, left and right. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out to the population and let our listeners know that there's a guy out there that could use a thought, could use a prayer if you're into that. And let's just
Throw up a
hope
sky
that,
note.
hope that Still Ray does good. In transition from Still Ray, I figured it's only fitting to talk about Save the Patch. It's going to be the last part of this segment. If you guys are familiar, in 2008, California, the Mongols, big arrests, tons of issues. The Fed came in, tried to
ATF, I read the book.
basically tried to take away their rights to wear the Mongol patch. They wanted to seize it. They wanted that trademark to belong to the federal government.
Billy Queen,
Yeah, it was the I believe it was called
Billy St. John,
Black Rain. That was the sting operation. Well, anyway, they're fucking back. And by no means do we support, endorse any motorcycle club or any other organization for that matter in regards to this particular issue. But I want everyone to know that this patch seizure and this trademark law issue is becoming a huge problem. They've lawyered up. They've started a fund. If you want to donate to the Mongols Nation Lawsuit Defense Fund, we'll get this information up on the screen, Scooter. We'll show you, as well as we'll put it on the website. We'll give you the law office. 100% of the proceeds, 100% go to defend this. And the reason I believe this is important, and I'm bringing this to our attention, is not because, again, I support the Mongols, anything they do, any recognition of endorsements here. But basically what they're saying is the federal government, if this sets a precedent, has the right to basically say, we're going to take that logo. We're going to take your patch. We're going to take any representation of your organization and not allow you to be represented or to band together like the Boy Scouts of America, like Blue Shield, Red Cross. I mean, they could literally seize anything that they feel is in their best interest and not in yours.
Yeah. Folks, this is extremely important. This could go anywhere between, whether you support, one club over another. It doesn't matter. This is one of the reasons why a BATE is formed. This is one of the reasons why the Arizona Confederation of Clubs, or the Confederation of Clubs in every state, is there, is to help band together for all MCs, riding clubs, MMs and everything else, to fight as one and to squash crap like this.
Because this
Plain
is
and
very
simple.
important. The way the law works in the United States is everything's based on precedence.
Correct.
And once this gets set, if this passes right here, now in future cases, nobody can bring up the fact that this is a private organization. This belongs to us. What the judge is going to look at and the prosecution is going to look at is they're going to say, no, precedence says we've already established that this can happen. Now it's just, will we do it? So this is very fucking dangerous.
It's extremely.
Everything.
Yeah, this
isn't even a biker issue. This is an issue.
I'm going to throw something out there, and this is, wherever you stand on it is fine with me. I really don't give a shit.
I give a shit, people.
Germany has the swastika is banned in Germany, okay, because of the connotations that it does. Germany doesn't have the freedoms that we do. Plain and simple. If somebody wants to, burn a cross in their own front yard, as
long as they're not damaging anybody else's property.
That's right.
Go fucking for
That's
it.
your property. If you want to have a tattoo of a swastika on your neck, that's your gig.
I'll
That's
talk to
fine
the skinheads about that.
That's fine. If that's the way you feel and that's your thought process, that's fine. I fought for your right to do that, for this Constitution. The three of us took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay, I don't care if I agree with you or not. This is a constitutional right that we have to assemble.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. This is
And
part of our right
besides,
to assemble.
It's none of the fucking government's business.
Stay the fuck out of my pocket.
It's none of the government's fucking business.
Well, it isn't, because you guys, it's getting ridiculous in this country, and the problem is our government, although for ages and ages have always been self-serving to their own ends.
Yeah.
But
No.
You think?
But the problem is now that Americans, unfortunately, are turning into a bunch of fucking lemmings. We're getting to the point where we don't even know which direction the cliff is to run off, and so we need to be told.
They're a bunch of pussies.
But our government is starting to take advantage of those things. And if the people, for instance, you guys hear about, I'll get back to this, but I got to digress for a second to that story of those elderly women in that Georgia mall. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
These gals get together every so often, whether it's once a week, twice a month, whatever, and they do speed walking indoors in the summer in the mall. Because it's hot outside.
Yeah, they
And,
do that here. They do it everywhere. There's a mall.
Well, what
actually.
these gals got together and did was they would get together before they would walk. They would stay in a little circle. They would bow their heads silently and do a prayer. I'm assuming it's a prayer. I don't know, because they're not speaking out loud. And they were stopped, and they were told to cease their activities, because the new policy in the mall was there would be no recognition of this, that, or the other thing. There would be no praying. There would be no formations or what was the word they used? They used assembly in regards to religion.
Do you know what? I wish my Irish Catholic grandmother, who is 98 years old, was part of that group, because you know what she would say? She would turn around, and she's only like 4'2" right now because she shrunk so much.
So she's still an inch taller than you.
Yes.
Yeah.
She would turn around and go, "Fuck you."
Now I know she wouldn't say "shut the fuck up."
No, it would be "fuck you."
So the reason I bring
or
the
Pogue
reason,
Mahone. That's Irish for kiss my ass.
Yeah, I don't know if she speaks Gaelic or not.
but the reason I bring this up is because the reaction to this action was basically a blanket policy. The mall was too friggin' lazy. The reason it came about was they were having all these religious groups talking to people inside the mall before they would enter into a store. You're going into the Gap with your kid, and they would stop you and say, "Have you found Christ?" And so the people of the mall
I
were
didn't
like,
know he was lost.
right? I knew exactly he's on that cross. I mean, they show me all the time. And so the policy of the mall, it got so to the point where they were so lazy where they couldn't say no assembly of any kind, no interference with someone's right to shop. No, they're just going to say anything that's remotely close to religion is going to be banned. And the reason I brought that up was not only do I...
So the whole mall should be banned because people view money as a religion. So
Well, what if you were going to set up a
Shut
kiosk
the whole
inside
fucking
your
thing down.
kiosk? You were going to sell Bibles. What were they going to do then, them sons of bitches?
As long as they got their cut.
Right? That's
then,
what it
then
is.
Then
it'd
it's
be
all right.
perfectly
Yeah,
okay.
totally fine.
But the reason I brought this up is to go full circle. That our right to freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, the right for women to vote. I mean, all these things that we've evolved past already seem to be somehow fucking creeping up. And not because it's what the American people want, it's because it's what we're being forced or fed or funneled into. Whatever is easiest for the people at the top to keep you in control. Mind you, I remember my old man telling me, the reason we weren't broke growing up is because they had to give us enough opportunity to live. But the reason we weren't rich is because they wanted to keep you so busy on worrying about how to pay your fucking bills that you couldn't look at how fucked up they were doing shit up on the hill.
Amen.
And that's the same thing that's
Preach
fucking
on,
happening
brother.
now.
Preach on.
It's the same thing. People don't want to be bothered. We don't want to wait in line for a fucking coffee. We have instant fucking coffee. I mean, really, get the fuck out of here. And they got to the point where we didn't even make our own coffee. Now we're going to go somewhere else and pay someone else to make us a 16-cent cup of coffee and charge you $5 because they put whipped cream on it and some fucking chocolate sprinkles because we're fucking lazy. And this is just going full circle what I'm saying. Go see your fucking Congress people. Get your head out of your fucking ass. Do what you got to do now because once it becomes a law, there's no turning back. Your lives will be controlled by the fucking man, and I don't want to make it sound like it's a conspiracy theory, but just look at the last 20 years of evolution.
Yep.
Just look at it.
And when this one passes, then that's just that much more that you can't use to defend yourself if you ever get put in a similar situation.
So not only
the precedent will be set, you're fucked.
Right, because then it's not even going to be whether or not it's legal. It's going to be whether or not this particular situation falls within the confines of that precedent, and then you are bent over dry, no lube, no reach around. Yep. You don't get a kiss goodnight.
You don't even get a redress because if it ever even goes to the appellate court, all they're going to look at is the facts from the previous case, and they're going to say, nope, well, precedent says, and you're still fucked. So you have no recourse.
Plain and simple. If you don't get up off your ass, I'm going to put my foot so far up your ass, the water off my knee will quench your thirst.
And although it's just a size 4.5, it is much bigger than a finger.
Because he's got this carbuncle or something on the fucking side of his foot.
Carbuncle.
It's fucking horrible.
It's a bunion.
I don't know.
It's a
carbuncle.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but that's not going to be pleasant going in.
So in closing in this segment, I just want everybody to know that you can donate to this fund. Now, remember, you're not donating to anything to do with the Mongols. It's going 100% to the defense to protect our rights moving forward. You can send that to Joseph Yanni, Law Office of Yanni and Smith, 1801 Century Park East, Suite 2400, Los Angeles, California, 90067. And we'll go ahead and get this information up on the website because I think it's important. It's just a small side note. If you guys have never heard of the U.S. Defenders, they're a coalition. They're a nationwide coalition. They're grassroots. They literally are almost like a phone tree where you're part of the U.S. Defenders, and it's a military ranking system. So your general will send out orders for your area. It'll get sent to the lieutenant colonels. They will send it out to their battalion commanders. The battalion commanders will send it. And so it trickles down to the foot soldiers where they get this grassroots information out, where they're knocking on doors and doing this type of thing. You can get a hold of the U.S. Defenders National Office. We'll get that information to you as well. Or you can go to usdefender.net. It'll lead you to ultimately the Save the Patch link. But the U.S. Defenders does so much more for motorcyclists, motorcycle rights than just this particular issue. And it is truly grassroots. I mean, literally, it's a phone tree, old school, a bunch of gray-haired fucking old bikers doing some kick-ass shit.
You got to do what you got to do.
Right. So, anyway, there's people out there that are thinking about this stuff. You should become one of them. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Doing anything you can to support this, even if it's just listening to the show to a couple old military fucks ranting and raving about bullshit. But that's all I got to say about that.
Well, thanks for all the information. Before we get into the segment with our guests from Bikers Against Child Abuse, we played this clip last week, and I want to play it again just as a preface as an introduction to BACA. Watch the clip.
We're not your average people.
You know these guys mean business.
We're all across the United States.
We're the only organization in the world right now that does what we do.
We're a nonprofit organization that works with children who have been the victims of physical, sexual, or mental abuse. We want to empower these children not to feel afraid of the world in which they live. Once children are empowered, they can start to heal. We work with the child to remove their fear, and when their fear is gone, that's when we know our job is done. When we say we'll do anything to protect the children, whatever that means, we mean it. We've got one guy who's 6'10" in our organization. We call him Tree.
Yeah, I stand out quite a bit.
To the kids, he is an absolute protector.
They feel pretty safe when I'm around.
The first introduction for a child to our chapter, we'll take and force the entire chapter. We'll have 25 motorcycles rolling down the road. The neighborhood wakes up real quick.
We pull up, and it's like amazing. The kids are you know, they're shy. They don't know what to think. I see all these crazy biker guys show up, you know, pretty scary looking, ugly people.
But after a few minutes, they really start to open up to us, and we develop that initial friendship.
I am Tree.
Hi, Tree.
How are you?
We give them a road name. They've got a patch on the back of the vest.
You're part of our family now, and that means we'll always be here for you. Okay, whenever you need us, if you're afraid, you call us. Okay.
And then we assign 2 members to those children that will follow up on a weekly basis.
Now you got a bunch of brothers.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of us are prettier than others.
In court, we had one of our kids, the judge asked, are you afraid? And she looked up at the judge and said, no. And the judge said, why not? She goes, because my friends are scarier than he is. A BACA child is 4 times more likely to testify in court than a child who's not part of our organization.
It is personal for me because I've been through abuse, in and out of foster homes, in and out of the system. Nobody believed me. Nobody seemed to care. It's a hell that I wouldn't wish upon anybody.
Here in Arizona, the child deaths directly related to child abuse went up 20% in the last year. So the problem isn't getting any better.
We need to wake up. The system needs to change, let's put it that way. To be able to stand up, you know, for a child and say, no, nobody's going to hurt you anymore. And you can stand up and be proud of who you are. You're not at fault.
We're not playing wild hogs here. And if someone who would hurt a child doesn't take us seriously, well, that would be a big mistake.
Apple, take one.
It's not what you think. Hi, I'm Sherry, and I own Stripper Juice.
Stripper Juice, like the quest for the hottest strippers and the coldest beer, the search for the best motorcycle cleaner and polish on the planet has been a labor of love. Stripper Juice was designed by bikers for bikers, but works just as effectively on all types of surfaces. And no soap or water, please. If it flies, floats, or rolls, Stripper Juice is the only quick detailer you need. Sprays on in a succulent pink foam with a gentle cherry fragrance. Oh, so slick. You'll hardly feel like you're cleaning. But the deep, wet shine left behind lets you know that Stripper Juice gets you off clean, baby. Works best when you're feeling dirty.
Warning, do not eat or drink. Squirt up your nose or any other body orifice. This stuff is flammable. Not responsible for rug burns, blisters, busted knuckles, angry spouses, broken vows, or any other consequences associated with the high cost of living the low life. Works best when you're feeling dirty.
Welcome back to Monkey Butt Radio. This segment of our show is brought to you by Square Peg Promos. For everything print and for your promotional products that fit, call Square Peg at 602-549-1044 or go to squarepegpromos.com. Now, let me ask you, Monkey Butt Nation, what do you think about a group that exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children? A group that exists as a body of people to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. A group that stands ready to lend support to wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization and working in conjunction with state and local officials who are already in place to protect them. A group that desires to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of their organization and that they are prepared to lend their physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and by physical presence. They stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. They do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that they are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle.
Fuck yeah.
That gave me fucking goosebumps.
Hey, dude. That's awesome. We're sitting here with Brooklyn and Nitro from BACA. And
Bikers Against Child Abuse. Folks, that's their mission statement. That's not even their creed. That's their mission statement.
I'm excited.
Yes. Ladies,
Totally.
Welcome to Monkey Butt Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
This is absolutely an honor for you guys to be here. We really, really, truly appreciate you taking the time out and coming across the valley to sit at the table with us. It's very appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
So.
We'll drive anywhere if we can get the word out.
Awesome.
Anywhere.
We're gonna have a party up in Flagstaff next week.
What's the date and time? I'll be there.
There you go. There you go. Get on your Indian.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
If it'll
That's right.
start,
Ben will tow you up.
It starts now.
It starts now, right?
It starts now. That's right. It's
You
got a
mean-
new motor.
Or wait a second, were you trying to say we'll try to starting it now? I'm confused.
No.
Oh, okay.
We just want to clarify.
Yeah, at least their bike starts. Mine doesn't.
That's true.
It gets us to the kids. That's all we care about.
Good.
So, Bikers Against Child Abuse. This is an organization. You guys watched the clip of the news, the ABC 15 news clip about this organization here locally. How big is the organization?
We are international. We're in 8 countries. We have 161 chapters in 39 states here in the United States, and we're continuing to grow. We hope that within the next 2 years we'll be in 32 more countries, and then we'll have every state in the United States covered with a chapter.
I saw on the website that there's majority of the states are covered. There are certain ones that aren't, but you guys have a major presence across the country. I mean, Texas alone is huge.
27 chapters.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is a big state. I've seen the map.
Shut the fuck up.
They
You
do.
can't
They have
read.
27 chapters. I think California has 13. Utah's got about 9. We have 2 here in Arizona, but we're working on getting some people to step up and, do what we do and help these kids. We take care of all of Arizona.
But when I was up in Vegas, I met Lobo from
Yes.
Las Vegas chapter. Totally pleasant gentleman. He was actually a joy to talk to, and he's very serious about what BACA does. Because when I first approached him, he was like, "Hey." Then I told him who I was, and he was like, "Hey, guy, all right, man, this is good stuff. All right, you're legit." So when I was talking with him, he said that before this news clip that we just showed the people on the show, before that, New York State had 1 chapter, and after this, they went up to like 7 chapters. Mm-hmm. Is that so? The what the news story did for you guys? Did that help expand you guys exponentially?
Unbelievable. Karina Balan for the Arizona Republic, I always say stalked us for about 3 or 4 months. At first, she was pretty apprehensive about doing it. It's a bunch of bikers. Really, what do
Damn
they do?
bikers.
I know. Are they 100%? Of
filthy.
what they're doing? And and she started to realize that we do what we say we're going to do, whatever it takes to get to a child. And we actually named her Cronkite. And the videographer that did it, Pat Buchanan, we named him Spielberg.
I guess that's better than Watergate.
That's right.
What they call it, Deep Throat. Yeah.
That's it.
Horrible
But
road name, by the way.
It went viral. It absolutely went viral. Croatia. We got people sending in donations. We're one BACA. We consider ourselves one BACA. Like if we get a donation that's from another state that we know has a chapter in it, but it comes to our mailbox, we turn around and we send it to that chapter. Because a lot of people don't know that there's a chapter there, and they may be struggling a lot more than we are. We're a bigger county, in a bigger state or something like that. But some of these states that are up north, they don't get as much that we get, So we want to help them out because it's not about us. It's not about you. It's about these kids.
Let me ask you. You just
That's a hard conversation for me to have. I'm sorry. It's not about me. I don't know.
You got to step back.
I'll defer to these guys.
You just said something that prompted a question. You said, in the county, is it part of the growth mission of Bikers Against Child Abuse to have a chapter in every county in the country?
Anywhere. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a county. We're almost getting to the point of splitting our chapter up because we have so many people and we're getting so many kids now that every single weekend we're bringing in children every single weekend. When I first started back in 2008, we weren't, if we brought in 15 kids a year, you know, we had one weekend, like I said, we brought in 17 kids in one weekend. Wow. You know, and some of these cases are beyond anything you read. We hear about what happens to them when we sit in court. We do have sunglasses. We have to put them down or walk out of the room because it does affect you. If it doesn't affect you, there's something wrong.
Right. We get BACA allergies where the tears just
That's what we
flying.
call it when we start. And we don't want the kids to see us crying. There you go. Yes. You know, but we will do corner to corner, border to border in Arizona with the 2 chapters that we have, and we ride a lot.
Well, you said that, you know, 17 kids in one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask you to, you know, say names because that's, you know, disrespectful for, you know, even the road names that you give the kids, which I think is cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But can you tell us a little bit about some of the kids that you've impacted and personally?
Yeah. I get some good ones.
Hey, and don't cry. I don't handle that well. I'm not very emotional, ladies.
We believe it or not, a lot of the people that come in are learning to separate that. You know, every now and then it hits you hard. You know, I've been in 6 years now, and
you make it sound like prison.
I know.
Come on, Nitro.
I love it. This is a prison I like. You know, I wish I didn't have to be here, though. I mean, let's put it that we all do. We wish we didn't have to be here.
I wish BACA didn't have to exist.
Right.
It's cool that we're here, and it sucks that we have to be.
Right. But you know, it's we had one little boy that was 7 years old. That the sound of his abuser's name, he would have seizures and he would throw up.
Holy shit.
And he was terrified, absolutely terrified. And until we came in. And 3 weeks later, we escorted him to court. And he walked right up with some BACA members. The judge allowed him to do it, and that's rare. He told his story, even though defense was badgering him, to the point where the judge looked at the attorney and said, you know what, I'll see you in my chambers, enough. And he turned around, he walked out, no seizures, no throwing up, and they took him to go get ice cream.
Nice.
That's what it's all about, empowering.
Yep.
For those of you this might be tuning in right now, we're speaking with 2 ladies, Nitro and Brooklyn from BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse here in Arizona. So I have a question. When you talk about 2 chapters, but you're a Maricopa chapter, Maricopa County, do you have a chapter in another county right now, or you have 2 chapters within this county?
Oh, no, we have our Tucson chapter, the Pima chapter.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I understood and the listeners understood.
So you have the 2 larger communities here in Arizona covered.
Yes.
Okay.
But we need help. Yeah. We need help. We're
you do
people.
need to be in Flagstaff.
We
so
need
you have
to
the whole
be everywhere.
I-17
We have
corridor
kids
covered.
up in Eager, and our members and our supporters will ride all the way up there. Their dime, their time, and to see those kids and bring those kids in. We have them down in Sierra Vista. You know, wherever they are, we're going to ride to them.
That's awesome.
If there's a state that does not have a chapter, then the surrounding states that do, we ride there and bring in that child.
Just for the listeners too, we take advantage of the situation that we know who BACA is because we've been following and stalking you as well for quite some time.
For over a year now.
Right. Like
we're sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm not sorry at all.
My wife, DJ, is actually the largest stalker out of all of us.
No, actually, she's the smallest stalker of all of us.
Well, yeah, size-wise. But every time that there's anything on your Facebook page or the news or anything else, she blasts it on social media.
We appreciate that.
Blasts it.
We thank her.
So let's talk about the process because, again, we have intimate knowledge. But when you say walking the kids up to court, what exactly is you guys do?
Or bringing the kids in?
Well, first off, we'll get a phone call, whether it's by CPS or it's by a prosecutor or a judge. We even had 3 kids that read the article and showed it to their parents, and they called us, and they're part of us. And then the child liaison, the president, security will go to wherever the child is. All the time that we go to them, they are not with the person that abused them. We cannot do that.
Although you may
can
want
only,
to.
Right. You can only refrain yourself so much.
I do
it's a different
subcontract
chapter.
work out if you need somebody
Right.
to take
Yeah,
care
I
of
know
that.
people who know people.
Absolutely. And you know what they do is they talk about, they try to make sure it's a legitimate case because, like I said, there's times where people call us up and they say, we're going through a divorce. Can you come over and beat up my, my husband or my wife? And no, that is not what we do. We don't even deal with the abusers. Would we like to? Absolutely. Who wouldn't when you're hurting a child the way that they do? But we don't, because then the focus is taken away from the child.
Sure.
And then the child sees nothing but more violence, and that's not what they need.
No, you handle these things in alleys when it's dark.
Yes, right.
Children see nothing.
But then once we make it a legitimate case, then the board decides whether we're going to take this child. It's sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional, mental. It doesn't matter. If this child is living in fear and there's documentation, whether it's a therapist or something, we're going to take them in.
So when you say take them in, what does that mean? Well,
we do what we call a level 1, and we all go in force. And these are the people, the only ones that can go and be around a BACA child is they are cleared. We do an NCIC background check. A lot of people come in and say, well, I have, fingerprints, fingerprint card. You don't have BACAs. Some businesses go back 10 years, some go back 20 years. We go all the way back. If you were 17 and you hurt a child, you're not going to be part of our organization. If you were driving drunk and you had a child in the car, you will not be part of our organization. Domestic violence, we have to weigh that because some states will take you both in when you both aren't at fault, but it'll be on your record. So we kind of make sure, but if there's no kids involved, we kind of make sure of that.
So you have a very stringent vetting policy.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
And a lot of, we get the hecklers and, well, all bikers have pass. Tell me who doesn't. Tell me who doesn't.
Wow.
As long as you don't
I don't
have
care what the hell I've done. I ain't beating up on kids.
That's what I'm saying,
well, one of the things that I'm hearing is it really doesn't matter what you've done and the mistakes you've made, but as long as it's not, I don't want to say as long as it's not with a kid, but as long as it's not with a kid or anything like
as long as the child's not involved.
Yeah. We've
had guys in our organization did 16 years in prison for robbing a bank. There was no kids there.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, it is what it is. We people's different lifestyles, things happen in their life. You know what I mean? As they say, shit happens. But if they're willing to step up and do what we do, then we'll take you.
Now I don't want to drag this conversation in the mud, but the true barometer for what it is that I think you're speaking of is, if you go to jail or prison, everybody seems to get along in general population, except for who?
Yes.
Child abusers
Yep.
get their what they say their just deserves, even in prison. So there is honor amongst thieves. So when you want to look at someone's past,
absolutely,
even criminals, rugged, lifelong serving criminals know the difference between that wrong.
Absolutely.
So
that's a wrong on a whole nother level.
Right.
I may rob banks for a living, but you know what? I'm going to protect kids.
That's right.
Bill,
That's
DPS,
right.
did you hear that?
That's
Go
right.
ahead and we're at 19. Oh, sorry. We've got him.
That's absolutely. But what they do is they get to know the child. Even if the child don't want to talk to you. We had one little girl that she heard the bikes coming and she was screaming. We could actually hear her over the bikes,
Well, you need better pipes. Fucking Indians.
Yeah, I know, seriously. I love that sound. And she was like, I don't want him here. I don't want him. She was terrified. She thought that we were going to ask her story again. We don't want to know. We don't
You
want
don't
to know.
care.
You know
You
what?
have told so many people what has happened to you. All we want to do is be there for you. And they just think that we're going to come in and grill them again. And it's not what it is. So we allowed her to sit off. And she just, kept crying. And then she was listening. It's like, wow, this is really about me. It's not about my grandma. It's not about my mom, my dad. This is about me. She started to kind of come up a little bit. And by the time the guys were ready to leave, she walks up to the door and she sees them getting on their bikes. And one of our guys had a GPS. And she says, is that a GPS? He's like, yeah, thinking he's all, wow, I'm going to finally talk to her. And she looks at him. She goes, well, aren't you old enough to know where you're going? Tell me that empowerment that within that short period of time that child felt
That's
safe
bonding.
enough to come out and do that.
I know where we're going. We're going to go to commercial for about 2 minutes, and we're going to come back to more talk with the ladies, Nitro in Brooklyn from Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Ohio afternoon down there at the top of the racetrack. 207.5646 miles an hour. 207.5646 miles an hour. Very consistent bike with their mile an hour of each other last week.
Welcome back to Monkey Butt Radio. We have Nitro and Brooklyn from the Bikers Against Child Abuse Maricopa chapter with us in studio tonight. Right before we took a break, we were talking about how when you guys come up to the house and introduce yourselves to the child and kind of start building a rapport. But one of the things that we really want to learn more about is how you take them in.
That's the best part. Once we know that it is a legitimate case, then we do what we call our level 1, and that's where everybody that is cleared, patch and supporters, they have to have cleared. We will go to the child's house in force. I think one time we had 84 bikes and 96 people or something like that. Can you imagine as a child seeing that? And they're like, they're for us? You know, and sometimes they're hiding in the house, or they're hiding behind mom and dad, or they're in the garage. Within the 45 minutes that we're there, we got them on the bikes, taking them for rides. And we bring them, and when we bring them in, what we do is our president, which is Rembrandt. He's not only our chapter president, he's our state president, and he's my husband. I got him in.
Wow, you really roped that goat.
Oh, you know it. You know it. He stood by me. He knew it was my passion, and he went on his first child ride, and that did it for him. You know, so what we do is the president will go up to him and said, "I told you I was going to bring back some more friends." And we go around, we go up, and we just introduce it. And all we do is, "Hi, my name is." We don't ask them, "How you doing? What are you doing?" Nothing like that. We know how they're doing.
Shitty.
We are not going to put anything on them. This is their day. If they don't want to they don't want to, get on the bike. They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to shake hands. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is all what you want to do.
We ask nothing of them.
Yep. And we give them, and I'm sorry I didn't bring it, but we do have a little we call Scoties, and it's a jean jacket that we cut the sleeves off, and we give them their road name. We give another patch that says, "I will not live in fear." We give them one, the Surgeon General says it's hazardous to mess with a BACA child. And the kids love that. And then they get assigned 2 primaries. And those primaries are ones that are patched, and they've gone through between 14 to 18 months before they're considered for a patch. They have to know every aspect of BACA.
So your prospect time is a year and a half?
Absolutely. Yeah. Some states are 2.
Outstanding.
Some states are 2. We want, because some people, what's unfortunate is this organization can bring in people that don't belong here that haven't gotten caught yet.
Right.
And that's the sad part. You know what I mean? So that's why a BACA child is never, ever alone with a BACA member, one BACA member. That's why they're assigned 2 primaries.
That's good.
We need to keep ourselves safe as well as that child and make sure
living above reproach.
That's it.
Yeah.
And never a married couple.
Never. Yeah.
Oh, sure, because they can make cahoots.
Well, and that's what it is. And plus, being married, you can't testify, again. So we don't.
Plus,
do
being
that.
married, you already have a strike against you for judgment calls. Your character's already been scarred.
Absolutely. So we do that. We assign them the primaries, and then those primaries will follow up with them and let the chapter know what their needs are. We give them a big BACA blanket, but before we give it to them, we pass it around to everybody, and we hug it, and we fill it with love. And we tell them if the blanket gets a little low on love, just give us a call. We'll come back over and fill it back up again. And we have a few that do that. My blanket's low, and it's adorable.
We had one little guy that wouldn't let his mom wash it.
Really?
He told her that you washed the color out of my shirt. You're not touching my blanket.
That's right. You keep the love in there, Mom. Damn it.
Burn.
He was afraid she was going to wash the love out of the blanket.
You turned my underwear pink. What the hell are you going to do to my blanket?
That's right.
I'm not touching my BACA blanket.
It's heart-wrenching, and it's rewarding in so many ways. Our payday is just seeing the smiles come back on their face. None of us
even
get paid
if it's
for what
just
we do.
temporary.
Absolutely.
Just to get one out of them, that's got to be amazing.
Oh yeah.
We want to be that little light in their darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little light.
Well, what kind of?
I'm getting goosebumps again. By the way,
We're talking. You told us some of the stories locally that have hit, that you guys have been a part of. I know if you go on the BACA website, and you can read story after story after story on how Bikers Against Child Abuse members have made a difference in these kids' lives. How can people get involved and support Bikers Against Child Abuse?
Many ways, many ways. If you, in order to be part of BACA, you have to have a motorcycle or access to a motorcycle. My husband was my access.
Well, you're in. You've got access.
Bikers.
Absolutely. But, the problem is that, you get a lot of the bikers that don't want to get involved. All they want to do is ride. We love to ride, and believe me, we do more riding than we've ever done because we're all over the state. But we're doing it to bring in a child, and that's the best part. And the camaraderie that we have between us is like no other organization I've ever been a part of. If I go to Italy, the Italy chapters will set us up with something, place to stay, give us a bike, stuff like that. Same thing when they come here. Hotels don't, it doesn't work with us.
We're family.
We help each other out. But once that child comes into the organization, there's a level 2 that's kind of, am I tapping? Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, quick.
You know what it is?
Keep playing with the boob.
It's sure.
I have been.
Squeeze,
This
flick.
thing is cool.
I know. I appreciate it. It gets me through some really hard times.
I know.
It's my BACA blanket.
Don't wash it. Don't wash it.
I'll fill it with love.
That's right. Nice. Now we're talking.
There you go.
Nitro
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I'll be busy.
Nitro has her own uniboob now.
No, but before I don't mean to stomp on the parade here, but I have so many questions because it's just so.
Ask, man.
Yes, I have to. I don't.
Oh, please.
So we take the child in now. So now we've given the child this big giant biker hug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's back up one step because there's a little piece of the puzzle I'm not quite comfortable with quite yet. Is the determining whether or not this is a legitimate case. Is that done by you, or is that done by a social worker in the presence of you and the family, or you guys handle that and you guys decide this is a case that we believe is legitimate regardless of what's happening?
Documentation. It has to be documentation. If it's a therapist that said this child started talking about something that happened to them, maybe mom or whoever doesn't know about it, it has to be documented. Police report, CPS, therapist, hospital. As long as we have something there that says that this child is living in fear and why, we take them in.
So now, do you guys have internally inside your organization a case worker? Meaning, do you guys seek these things out? Or are they phoned in? Are these people just saying, we need... So why BACA amongst all the, what I would say to be the plethora of institutions out there that are supposed to be helping these children on the government's dime, on my dime, taxpayers' dime?
Because when you throw up the bat signal, they come running.
The BACA signal.
So funny.
Signal.
That's
We
so
actually
funny.
use that.
That's it. We always tell the kids you can put it in the window and the light shines. It'll be that like a bat signal, and the kids love it. The therapist, for the longest time, nobody would call us because they thought we wanted their jobs. I don't want your job. We're free. We do this out of the...
Hell, I don't want your job.
That's
So wait a second.
From what I'm determining, what you guys do is you fill in that void that all these other government agencies,
Absolutely.
these other protection agencies that are looking out for the welfare of the kid from one aspect, you guys are filling what they miss.
Yes.
Yes.
So you guys are vital. You guys are doing something that those guys aren't willing, or they're not authorized, or they just don't
have
know
the
they have to do.
resources.
They have too much politics.
Exactly.
And that's why we don't have a corporate office anywhere. We've been around for 19 years. We don't need it. It's working just the way it is. We don't ask nothing of the child. Nothing. Don't tell us your story. You don't have to. We're here. If you want to, you can. But we will refer them to somebody and say, we'll go with you to the therapist. As long as the therapist is okay and whoever the caretaker is. Once they're in, they usually are. We had a high-profile case, a little boy that was kept in a cage and starved.
Fucking Jesus.
Oh, yeah. And this
In the
was...
kitchen.
Oh, yeah. While
Right
they
next to
sat
the
and ate.
refrigerator,
No
right?
shit.
While they
Fuck
sat
that.
and ate. Yes.
Man.
And he would not talk to his therapist. 9 months she tried to work with him, would not talk. We came in, he wouldn't shut up. He felt so comfortable now that he didn't have to be intimidated. Unfortunately,
That's
the
because
police
Fat Daddy
make
looked
an
like a
intake.
giant ham hock. He was like,
And you look at one of our brothers, Tree. He's 6'10".
We've
I
seen
want
the
him on
videos.
my
Yeah.
side, okay? I want him on my side.
Mhm.
When the kids see that, and we have, our members' names. We've got Hulk, we've got Passion, we have Tink, we've got Grumpy. We have a Grumpy.
Is he taller than ours?
No, about the same time. No, he's a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Squirrel.
They're both dwarf size.
The kids love
little
those
people.
names. It does something for them. And then my husband being Rembrandt, he's Rembrandt. Yeah, I just
Oh
said
my gosh.
Rembrandt.
Rembrandt.
We have a little guy that called him Rembrandt.
Wembrat, because he couldn't say Rembrandt, and that was just, and he wrote it on a piece of paper, and that was who his primary, was, and a Wembrat, and it was just adorable. I mean, you can't. That payday is like nothing else. Is to have a child smile and know that they feel safe around you.
So then, do you guys go about these particular institutions and drop off cards and say we are a viable choice? You can give us a call if there is an issue, if you have overflow, if you have problems. How exactly do people get in communication with you on a grand scale?
All over. Stuff like this, getting out on the radio, getting out on the TV, going and doing presentations at schools, at churches, anywhere that will listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody was listening right now and they were concerned, they're on the fence because you are a bunch of bikers and nefarious characters and you don't have hearts and you do criminal activities and whatnot, what's the one thing you could say to them right now that one thing, a statement that would just let them know that, hey, we are the type of people you need to be calling?
Why don't you just listen? People don't have a bad habit of not listening. Don't judge a book by its cover, because we have people that are in law enforcement. We have people that are IT techs. We have nurses. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 6. Been married to my husband 32 years. We got a small business. I love to ride, but I ride for a reason. All of us have families, and we're just tired of our system failing our kids.
You can get more information at BACA, BACA World.org as well.
Correct. Yes.
That's the main website, and they have contact information for on the BACAWorld.org website for all the chapters around the country.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can, wherever you're at, you could be here in Maricopa County, in Phoenix, or you can be in Seattle, Washington. You can be in New York. You can be in Italy. If you're listening in France, we have listeners in France. So if you're there, you can contact BACA members all over the world.
Now, I've got a question, and this is, you guys work strictly off of donated funds.
Correct.
100% completely donated funds. Now, there's some people out there in our community that would love to be a part of your organization, but there's some people out there like me that have psychological issues that don't have the ability to restrain like you guys need.
I vouch for that.
So I could never be a part of BACA because I don't have that restraint. I don't have that ability to not act, whether it's on behalf of a child or not. So how can people like me help you guys out?
Stay away. No.
Because the heart's in the right place. I just have a
That
different
is the
methodology that's not acceptable
issue.
to you guys. So how do you deal with people like me that come to you thinking they're going to be a part of the organization when it's not a fit? What can they do other than join the organization to help you guys out?
You have to stop thinking it's about you, because when you start thinking it's about you, that's when you get all that anger and that rage that you want to go and do something to the person that hurt that child. You have to focus on that kid, not what they went through. Yeah, it was horrible, but where can we take them from that point on? Where can we break that chain and let them know that you are more powerful than you understand, because it was already torn down from them from being beat, or whatever it is that they had to witness, whether it was another sibling that they witnessed being murdered or their own parent or something like that. We get some pretty strange cases, but you got to stop thinking it's about you. It's hard to do sometimes, but when you're in court, it is all about that child. Yes, that perp's there. Maybe the family members of that perpetrator, that abuser's there. We do say absolutely nothing. We do not talk to them. It's tough sometimes. It is, especially when you hear the details, and that's where you hear the details, is in court. We tear up. Sometimes we have to walk out of the courtroom.
How often do you guys go to court with these kids? Out of the percentage of cases, you guys, let's say you get 100 cases, how many actually go to court, and how many of those cases are you guys allowed to
90.
Really?
It's
wow.
A lot of them, what's happening too is they're finding out that we're getting more and more convictions because they're copping pleas.
Sure.
When they find out that we're coming into, because they know this kid's not going to back down.
Because you're empowering these children to actually tell the truth instead of being scared of what could happen to them if they do.
Absolutely.
Right. And you said something earlier about what we do for them. All we do is show up.
Yeah.
You know what they say?
All we do is show up.
That's what they tell you in the job world.
Just show up.
90% of your job is just showing up, damn it.
So, you know what?
These kids are our heroes.
Yes.
You know what? Go to bacaworld.org. You can also call 866-71-ABUSE for more information. We're going to be back in 2 minutes and talk some more. I know this is Monkey Butt Nation. This is an extended show. We told you last week that this was a special show for you guys. So we're going to be
for us.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Without a doubt.
We're going to be back in a couple minutes. Pause for the cause with the ladies from Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Pay the bills.
Hi, I'm Officer Judd from the Peoria Police Department Traffic Services Unit. We've teamed up with the Governor's Office of Highway Safety to bring you this important motorcycle tip.
When operating a motorcycle, it is important to be alert and avoid distractions. When approaching intersections, be prepared. In the first scenario, notice how the car fails to yield for the motorcyclist. The motorcyclist quickly uses combination braking, that is both front and rear brakes, and avoids a collision, and then rides off safely. Always scan the roadway ahead with your peripheral vision. Notice in scenario 2 how the motorcyclist avoids running over debris or fluid in the roadway. Remember to always be vigilant when riding and expect the unexpected. Let's not meet on accident. Thank you and ride safe.
Welcome back to Monkey Butt Radio. We are still in studio with Nitro and Brooklyn from Bikers Against Child Abuse. Ladies, we really appreciate you. Seriously, we really appreciate you being here tonight. It's been great to get to know you and to get to know a little bit more about BACA. I know Big Mike had a couple kind of continuing on the conversation before the break. Big Mike, you had some questions that you still wanted to ask?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, amongst all the great information you guys have given us, when you guys determine a case or when you go and visit this child's personal house or wherever they're staying, their artificial home, whatever you want to call it at the point, how do you guys determine how important it is or how necessary it is for you guys to pump up the volume or bring your presence a little farther forward, a little more felt? I mean, is there like different ways you guys go about determining that, about levels of abuse or
abuse
situation?
Is abuse. We don't not one kid is any more important than the next. They're all important, regardless of what they've been through. Again, because we don't focus on what they went through, we focus on what we can bring them out of. So we don't weigh it. None of the members, other than the child liaison, the president, and security, knows the details of the case. We don't, half the time we don't even know the kids' real names. We just know them by their road names. You know, it's for their anonymity, you know, to protect them. Because what if you came up and you were looking for your daughter and you said, hey, you know, my niece is in your organization, you say her name. I'm going to look at you and I have no idea who you're talking about. Right. You know, even if you said the road name, I still would do the same thing because I don't know you.
Right.
You know,
that's just funny. You know, we were talking before the show and on some of the breaks about how similar certain aspects of BACA is to an MC and the anonymity and things like that. I think that's hilarious. Like,
well, what I'm seeing in Nitro's
never say anything to the man.
What I'm seeing in Nitro's face when she made that comment is she's a little closer to me than I thought she was as far as attitude. Because you had a look on your face that kind of
don't admit to that. Trust me, Nitro, you don't admit to that.
I'm just saying.
You have no idea what kind of company
the
you're
look
keeping.
on her face was.
Don't fuck with my kids.
It was a little uncomfortable. It was, because the passion
like
that you had for that topic right there, and making the child paramount, that was, it was uncomfortable looking at you.
Well, and one of the
Then
biggest,
I did something right.
Yes, you did.
One of the
You
biggest
did.
things is we don't give a fuck about anybody else but the kid.
That's it.
And we're going to quote you on that.
Absolutely.
Literally in
Please,
quotes.
yeah. Please.
Brooklyn smile. You don't understand how much this. Well, actually, you do.
Yeah.
She is smiling so much when she's saying this, almost to a just to a level of disgust. Like her smile is so.
Her New Yorker is coming out.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Damn Yankee fans.
These 7 sentences, if you look in it, all it talks about is a child.
Yeah.
It doesn't talk, and I get goosebumps every time I say it. Doesn't talk about the person that hurt him. Doesn't talk about the people that take care of them. It only talks about them. They get lost, believe it or not, in this entire case.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys ever bump into a situation where you know that the immediacy of you guys acting is more necessary than others? I mean, is there like a situation where you guys really realize this child's life's literally not just being abused, but in danger?
I don't know. I mean, if I witnessed it, that's when that side comes out.
Yeah.
Then I'm no longer a BACA person. I'm a human being.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If
Quote
it's,
right there was, BACA people are not human beings. They are machines, people.
No,
Be very careful.
They are better than that.
Right, that was the other human being.
She's going to lower herself down to
a normal
more
person.
That's right.
But we
that's
will
right.
find out what the level of fear this child is living in.
So let's talk about that. How do you differentiate levels of fear?
That's when they go to talk to him, we find out if it was, let's say if a male abused a little girl and she's afraid of men. We will not assign men as her primaries. We will assign females. Females have a huge, huge role in BACA. We cannot hold a position of president, vice president, or security. If you know the MC world, you understand why. I am not going to walk into an MC's clubhouse and start talking about BACA. We all already know what's going to happen there,
Right.
And I won't
Yeah, you'll be opening
disrespect them.
beer.
That
You'll be opening
That's
beer.
right.
That's right.
Dancing on the pole and whatever else. But no, there you go. I respect them, and it's a lot of people down them, but let me tell you something. They're parents too. They have kids, and it's because of that image is what makes it work for us. These kids know that we're not going to walk away, that we mean what we say.
One of the things that, we had a show a couple weeks ago about, motorcycle clubs, and we talk about the beneficent biker and things like that. One of the things that we've always talked about on the show is how close the biker community is. And in most motorcycle clubs, I say most because in most motorcycle clubs, the club members are your brothers. So they're closer to you than most family. It's something you ladies said, before we even sat down, before the show even started, when you were kind of giving a little bit of background about BACA, is that you bring these kids into your family.
Absolutely.
Okay, the BACA family. So it's with their cuts, their denim cuts, or what do you call them? I'm sorry.
Scodies.
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 Okay.
But they're denim.
Okay,
yes.
Scodies. So with their Scodies and their road name and their patches and everything else, they're brought into the fold. So they are part of the BACA family.
That's our little brother and sisters.
Exactly.
And we're so grateful for the motorcycle community and the MCs because it's that image that makes this work.
Yeah.
If anyone knows anything about the biker community, it's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood.
Oh, yeah.
These kids may have lost their families. We now have a new little brother, a new little sister. And now they're part of our family.
And that's worth more than anything to these kids.
A lot
Absolutely.
of these kids.
It is.
A lot of these kids.
It also brings security.
Yeah.
It does.
Damn, that makes Christmas expensive.
Oh, yes, it does. But it also makes it fun because when we put that Christmas party on for them, to see the joy in their face, you mean I get a gift, we take them somewhere where they can play, bowling or pinball or laser tag or something like that. And someplace they've never been able to go. And we try to, that's their money. That's what it's for.
Let's talk about
that money.
Yeah, let's talk about that money.
Absolutely.
We bump into so many nonprofit organizations that have a very large checkbook, and a large portion of that we're finding, as everyone else in the world is finding, goes to a lot of administrative costs.
Right.
From what I gather, just from our conversations, and please elaborate, basically everything that you guys and gals are doing for these kids is coming out of pocket short of the professional services that have to be paid for. That really comes from the donations that you guys are able to acquire.
So there's SCOTY, the patches, their road name patches, things like that. The blankets, the BACA blankets, filled with love. The love is free, but the blankets actually cost money. But getting to the place, getting to the child's home, whether it's from Phoenix to Eager or New Mexico or wherever, you guys pay for that trip yourself.
Our dime, our time.
But
our gas, our maintenance.
So people understand that they own an Indian, for Christ's sakes. That's a lot of maintenance.
That's a lot of freaking maintenance.
Damn!
I think we're the only one.
Triple A platinum package.
If you heard that, Brooklyn just basically threw Nitro under the bus right there. Not all of them.
I'm kicking.
Fight! Take your shirts off.
Cat fight.
Where's the baby oil?
That's right.
This is awesome.
Hey, get your hand off my boob.
This is the time. This is the time of the show where we normally turn the lights up.
There you go.
No, so I mean, this isn't for the faint of heart. Meaning, your heart can be in the right place, but you got to follow with everything else that goes with that. I mean, you might think that abusing children is horrible, like me,
right?
But the commitment to be part of BACA is much greater than just your
There's
heart.
a lot of sacrifice on a lot of my brothers and sisters in the organization, and for me, if they're not willing to do that or take a bullet for me, you're not going to be here. You know, I need to know that you're going to be there for me so that I can be there for them, and I'm going to be there for her so that she can be there for the child.
That's what that long prospecting time is for.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
It is. And we take it very, very serious, the teaching that we do with them. They have to know BACA inside and out, and I will throw random questions at them. You know, I'm very, very passionate about it. You know, if you're going to wear a patch on your back, damn it, you're going to know about this organization. Somebody comes up and asks you about it and you don't know and you're wearing a patch, take it off. Take it off. You won't get it until you know everything there is to know about this organization.
We've been saying that for a year.
Oh, yes.
Biggest is still here.
Yeah. That's it. You know,
and you notice I'm not wearing a patch. I just show up and drink
and
beers.
And believe it or not, these cuts that we have, our cuts, they're not ours. They belong to the kids. We pay for the patch, but if we leave BACA, good or bad, they go back to the organization.
And us wearing them, just because we get to wear them, is nothing of what that kid had to go through for us to wear this.
Yeah, that's a
absolutely.
Yeah, that.
God, you guys are so
there.
deep.
And that's why this organization is not about you.
That's it.
Any other professional organization I belong to, it is about you. Professional development. Be better at what you do. One of the things that really attracts me to BACA is that it's not about us. We're actually all of us in the same room, focused on the same cause.
Your organization is one of the true selfless organizations.
Absolutely.
And that's admirable. Ladies,
yeah, we don't have
that
a
is
corporate
truly
office.
admirable.
We don't have a corporate office. We're not
No
going to
one
get
gets a
involved
paycheck.
in politics. We're not going to get. We don't get state funded. We don't get federal funded. Because if we do, that's when everybody's going to want to come in. And like you said, that corporation. You know, I mean, everybody struggles. You know, I mean, we struggle as my husband and I every single day financially. But I'll be damned if I'm going to take something away from the kids because I need something.
Right.
It ain't about me.
Nuggets, I tell you what, all of you, if there was ever a fucking organization that deserved your support, it is the one that these two ladies belong to. You have got to give these ladies the respect they deserve. What they're doing is worth more than any of the money you could ever give them.
October 11th this year, there's a ride that starts at Chandler Harley-Davidson. Everybody here in the Valley knows what it is. Breakfast is going to be served by the Foothills Hog Chapter and ends with a free family-friendly party at the Arizona Automotive Institute on 46th Avenue over in Glendale. $10 entry fee. Registration starts at 8 a.m., last bike out at 11, in by 4, party runs from 11 to 6. It's a poker ride. Okay, this is a fundraiser for BACA. It's their 6th annual Arizona Awareness Ride. All proceeds go to support the abused kids.
Yes.
Okay, this is, folks, Monkey Butt Radio is going to be out there. We'll be at least at the start and at the end. I don't know. We have a tendency not to try to ride with.
I'm going to the party.
Yes, we like food and we like parties. We just don't like to ride with other people that we don't know.
Strange
people. You can understand that.
Believe it or not, that's what we need to find out too. People that can ride with us. Yeah. You have to be comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But October 11th, put on your calendars. I know, ladies, we'd love to have you back on a consistent basis, okay, to give us updates on what BACA is doing here locally. Even if you could reach out to your brothers and sisters around the country, updates from all over the country. We'd love to be able to tell our listeners in New York and New Jersey what your chapters there are doing. So maybe they could get involved, or, maybe in Virginia or Florida or Washington or Montana or wherever it is. If you need a chapter in a place, maybe this can go out to somebody in that community to reach out and who do they talk to start a new chapter somewhere.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to take phone interviews from them folks, too, if they're doing something really good out there and they need the kind of support like you need on October 11th for something they got going out there. We can do a 15-minute or a 10-minute phone interview.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
To support that, because there's people all over the world that listen to us. I don't know why, but they do.
We don't speak English, and we don't speak other language.
They're gluttons for punishment.
If we reach one child with this segment, just one, no matter where in the world it is, it was all worth it.
I think we can manage that.
I
think
we can do something with that.
Hell yeah.
There's some on the top of our flyer that's part of our mission, our creed. I'm sorry.
Read that for us, Nitro.
We won't give up, shut up, or let up until we have showed up for all wounded children. Will you step up? And that's what we need. We need people to step up and do what we need to do.
All I can say to that is, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Monkey Butt Nation, will you step up and support BACA any way that you can? Remember, BACAworld.org. You can go on there, and I know, Brooklyn, you were talking about, we have a lot of listeners here in Phoenix, but we have listeners all over the country, and there's part of the website there under the Arizona chapters that they can donate straight to the Arizona chapter.
Yes.
But also, they can just donate to the international, and wherever that zip code is.
International will disperse the funds there.
So.
See, now, you tell me what other non-profit will do that for their appendages.
Yeah. None.
That's it.
No.
So that's
it's
legit.
all about the kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
The level.
Yep.
Level 2.
Yeah.
Ladies, you're the real deal.
Thank you.
The lovely Cat, what do you got for him? We got another 7, that's 14, and Beaner, 8, 14 and 8 is what?
Hey guys, I'm Kat Chassie and I'm the host for the Sturgis Rider TV All Access. It's my 5th year here at the Chip and I just can't wait to get back and see all my friends and family. The Chip is the place to be in August. Don't miss out.
Welcome back, Monkey Butt Nation. We still have, it's I told you this, guys. This is.
We can edit that out, okay?
Yeah.
They're still fucking
We don't
here.
mind.
No,
We will not
there's
go
it won't go away.
There's
will not go
there's
away.
validity to that comment. We still have these ladies on because
Yes.
it's that important.
Yes.
To
And
us.
they haven't run away.
And we just finished watching just a short segment with Sash from Sturgis. Thanks, Sash, for sharing that with us. But
Hey, less talk, more boobs. Come on.
Come on.
And, well, you know what? She did the segment on the Indian, and that's, I think, what changed Biggus's mind.
Yeah, but she did it with her shirt on. She's just not following instructions.
Yeah, that didn't change my mind.
She's
Okay.
like one of those
Aesthetics
kids
the
in
bike
school. You open
now,
up
if
the
she
report
would have
card,
showed
no
me your
gold stars.
tits,
Right.
Does not follow
That would
instructions.
have been right
Does not
and
play
wrong.
well with others.
Okay. Well, we're still here with Nitro and Brooklyn. I know we were talking about the different levels, level 1, level 2, Super Mario Brothers level, things like that.
Yeah, where do I get the magic mushroom?
Yes. How do we save the princess?
The level 2 is probably one of our strongest things that we do when a child is. I'll give you an example. We had some kids at our swim party. This is the second time Dad, who lives in another state, was trying to get the kids. The first time they had the family drive by, and try to intimidate the grandmother and the aunts and stuff. And then the second time he hired 2 guys to come and take the kids and try to incapacitate the grandmother. Well, the kids were with us at the swim party. We get the call from Grandma that they're there. We shoot down to the house. We get out of our swim trucks. We get on our bikes in our gear.
I was
we
going to say,
go down
because
there.
you showing up in swim trunks isn't too intimidating.
Not riding in that, no
Tree and a
way.
Speedo is
Yeah, no,
not-
I'm serious. No. But we will stand guard in front of their house, whether it's 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, around the clock, until that child feels safe. And until they go to court and testify. We escort them to court. We take them to court. We walk in with them. Sometimes the judge doesn't even know they're there. Is the victim even here? And we have to move to the side and point. Sometimes the abuser doesn't even know they're there. The way that we do it.
So you guys are actually a physical barrier.
Absolutely.
Between.
Absolutely.
Well, the difference between level 1 and level 2 is what?
The level 1 is when we bring the child into the organization. When we give them their SCOTIs and we give them their road names, and we let them know that we're here for them. And no matter where they go, if they move to another state, we'll send chapters, that they'll be a part of that chapter. If they go on vacation and there's chapters in that wherever they're vacationing, they will go visit that child for us. So that child knows you've got a huge family out there, that we're international. And then the level 2 is only when there's a threat. These people that abuse these children don't want to go to jail because we all know what happens to them. Mm-hmm. Although a lot of times in our system, they have more rights than these children do.
So that all level 2 is actually like DEFCON, whatever.
It is in a sense.
Level red.
We actually had one guy threw a Molotov cocktail into the family's house, blew up the car.
What?
And oh yeah, absolutely.
After
they don't
he
want them
threatened
to.
her with it.
These are classy people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're not going, you're going to, if you have to kill all of us to get to them, Texas got 27 chapters. They'll be here in a heartbeat. Utah's got 9, California's got 13. All we have to do is make a phone call to the state president.
Call to arms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we take it very, very serious. So if a brother goes down, a sister goes down, we'll have 20 more, coming in, 50 more coming in, or something like that.
I wouldn't want to be that guy. That guy laughing and snickering because I think I got the best of him, and then 50 more replace the one that I hurt. Holy
Believe it
shit.
or not, they're that stupid.
Yep. Oh, no, of course they are.
Yeah.
They're
Really?
abusing children.
Oh, right. Yes.
Intelligence left their bodies long time
We've
ago.
had members shot at. We've had members hit by cars. We've had members pepper sprayed while they're on the road. Because even though there's a lot of people that do like us, there are a lot of people that don't like us. We're putting their, quote, loved one away who just abused a child. So they'll do whatever it takes to try to knock us off the road, but it doesn't matter. There's too many of us. There's too many of us. Oh, thank you. We like you
to see a kid stand up in court. Now, we don't do anything but show up. It's them that is empowered to go up and tell their impact statement, to look at the judge. We had one little girl that said, "You can't hurt me anymore. I've got BACA."
The judge.
Well, how do you not just break down and start crying?
How do you?
Yeah, we had a little girl that I think it was a little boy. I can't remember what it was in another. I don't know if it was Oklahoma chapter that got up on the stand, and the judge said, "Are you afraid?" Nah. Just, "You're not afraid?" Nah. Goes, "How come?" "My friends are scarier than he is." That's
right.
Empowerment. That's empowerment.
Well,
speaking of empowerment, let's wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
There's been buzz. There's been talk of this infamous story of darkness, windows, cigarettes. Can you guys tell that story really quick? I want to make sure we get it right and our listeners hear it for what it is, because if you tell it the way that I have understood it, it's going to give me goosebumps again.
It's a perfect definition of a level 2.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well,
tell us.
Come on.
It's when a child is in fear, they won't sleep at night. They won't sleep in their room. We will come, like I said, and stay outside. We stay outside. We do 4-hour shifts around the clock. So anytime that child gets up and looks out the window, when they see a cigarette or they see us standing out there, we just wave at them. They'll knock on the window. It's all right. Go to sleep, little brother, little sister. You're all right. We're here. They get up the next morning. We're still there.
See, you get goosebumps.
That's badassery.
Awesome.
That's
badassery. That's what that is.
Oh, I like that. That's a new word.
That's a grumpy word.
It's a grumpy word. Yes.
A grumpy word.
We tell the kids, "This is my sister, and and I'm hers. As much as I have her back, she has my back. We now have your back."
And then she looks at you and says, "Well, my sister beats me up." Wait a minute.
Your new family.
No, it does. It's probably one of the most powerful things I've ever done in my life. And I've always worked with kids with inner city and gangs and, and Department of Corrections and stuff, and in psychiatric hospitals. And this is beyond anything I've ever done. The best thing to tell the public is we're free. We're free.
We are a free resource.
Well, I got to say, ladies, this has been an absolute treat for us here at Monkey Butt Radio that you came on the show. This is we could not ask for something better than what you provided to us today.
Do us a favor. Take Nugs with you.
Take notes.
Teach him how to teach him how to be a brother.
Yeah, Nugs is a little messed up, so Nugs needs help.
He needs empowerment.
There
you go.
Okay.
Every one of our supporters gets a mentor, so we might have to hook him up.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Give him a road name.
And I'm saying he needs some of that blanket love you guys are talking about. Just saying.
There you go.
Ladies, it's been a real honor to have you on. You are open door policy. Anytime you ever want to come back on and share with us, please feel free to come anytime.
Exploit us.
Yes,
And us too.
Exploit
This
us.
is what we need. We need the public to step up and do the things that sometimes we just can't do. And that's helping us out. And whether it's monetary or those jean jackets or
Men and boys.
Men and boys. That's what we need.
Men and boy sizes.
Just
men
give
and
us
boy
a call.
sizes.
Men and boy sizes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
men
you.
and
Yeah, they don't
boys
need men and
sizes.
boys.
No.
They are married women.
I was like, wait a minute, you're married.
Wait a second. Let's restructure that sentence. There. Wait a second. They're married, therefore maybe they were asking. I don't know.
We need jean jackets that are men and boy sizes more than anything.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Monkey Butt Nation, you heard it right from the ladies' mouths. Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACAworld.org. Go there, check them out. Look for a chapter in your area. Support them. If you see them out riding, if you see it's a fist with BACA on the knuckles, check the chapter out. Okay, shake their hand.
Give them money.
Tell them
money.
thank you.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
But try to give them money.
They're helping keep kids safer in your communities and teaching kids to live without fear. Okay, that's what it's all about, empowering kids.
And remember,
Ladies
these are the
doing great.
kids that will be taking care of you when you're old in retirement homes. So take care of them now so they can take care of you later.
Yes.
And they're
What
not
goes
the
around
punks.
comes around.
Right?
That's right.
Karma's a bitch.
Yep. Ladies, thank you so very
Thank you,
much.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Monkey Butt Nation, we're going to be back next week. We're going to be talking
At the Chop and Walk.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got
Chop
live
and walk,
remote.
man. Just
less-
surfing
less-
Chinese food. people.
Yes, next week we'll be live at the Chop and Walk with Shelly Martin from Harley Davidson in Scottsdale. We're going to be talking about bikers for boobies. We'll bring the Uniboob along, so let Shelly play with the Uniboob for a while. But we're going to be talking about bikers for boobies and on how you can be involved. We can help save kids, and we can support breast cancer awareness right here in the Valley. Folks, be good to one another.
Don't be a dick.
Peace.